Hokage, Uchiha Prodigy unlocks ultimate analysis system. Episode 51, Dead Forest Exit. The clansmen of the two major families of Konoha were waiting for their people to be the first to come out. There's a lot at stake. Adults are surging in their hearts and calm on the surface. Sure, look at how things are inside. Uchiha is dead. Patriarch Hinata tilted his head slightly and said to the left and right, because the traces of the use of white eyes are too obvious, he cannot show his anxiety in front of big occasions. Nodded left and right, and then hid behind the clansman. Just as he was about to open his eyes, there was some movement at the exit of the Death Forest. Everyone was watching. Which side will it be? I saw that the black-clothed Uchiha led all of Uchiha's staff, jumped out from the exit, and stood cleanly in the original venue. They are 9 people in and 9 people out at the same time. Seeing the intact and even somewhat energetic Uchiha Hiko, Hinata's patriarch suddenly became short of breath. What's going on? What the hell is going on? Why did he even send in that pair of brothers? How could this Uchiha be the first to come out? Shouldn't it be their Hyuga clan that came out? Sure, tell me, what's going on? What do you see? He asked coldly. The left and right wide eyes opened, looking at the scene in the distance, and suddenly shocked. This is. Sure, answer me. Ah, yes, the master, me, our team all extinguished. Whole. Extinguish. Patriarch Hinata's eyes widened in disbelief, and a pair of white eyes no longer cared about face, frantically spying towards the forest of death. Suddenly, a stump appeared in his field of vision. Immediately after, there was charred humanoid black charcoal. This was followed by severely deformed corpses. And then there was the one that was cut in half by a knife. No, how could it be? The 9 of them Hyuga were really wiped out. The elite of that group of elites in the Hyuga clan were all lost in this broken death forest. Even if they die on the battlefield, they are better than dying here. The Hyuga patriarch's heart is like a knife. Almost vomited blood to death. Now it doesn't matter what ranking, their people are gone. At this moment, Uchiha came over. He looked at the ridiculous faces of the Hyuga clan, lowered his voice, and said, "The Hyuga clan, it's best to take a detour when you see me in the future. If you come to offend me again, you will see one kill one." If I were the Grand Patriarch of Hinata, I would have apologized for my sins in front of this forest of death today. Waste, give me a few more years, and I will break into your clan alone and kill you. Every word was like a blade stabbed in the heart of Patriarch Hinata. Hinata's breathing became more and more disordered, and his eyes gradually covered with bloodshots, which matched his wide-eyed hideous face, which was like a monster. Uchiha's Mune Patriarch is not always Mune. He sensed the killing intent and immediately pressed it with his aura. If the Patriarch of the clan dared to attack a brat on such an occasion, then Hinata would really not be able to wash it. As a clan, they will be removed directly from Konoha. Hinata's killing intent was suppressed, and he trembled with anger, clenching his fists. But Uchiha has already left dashingly. There are Hokage people all around, they are equivalent to deputy examiners, and the results of the competition are obvious. Hinata's people are gone, and talk about a chicken feather ranking. Ha, Yen boy, nice job. Unlike the lowness of the Hyuga clan, the Uchiha clan can be described as glamorous. The clan also specially called the elders of the clan, and the famous shinobi all ran over to witness this moment of victory. How many people they came, how happy they were, how painful and ugly Hinata was. From then on, they could never lift their heads in Konoha. At least everyone knows that they are inferior to Hinata. The great elder stepped forward and picked up Uchiha Yen, revealing a rare smile. Ha, those guys from Hinata are not even as good as my grandson. This is really a bit hurtful. Hiko. Elegant. Uchiha, those laughter were like repeated scars in the hearts of the Hyuga family. Painful, and what can be done? Skills are inferior. They lost completely. The 9 of Uchiha went in together and came out together. Not even a single hair was injured, let alone damaged. What's even more terrifying is that their formation is not chaotic. The formation that came out is exactly the same. But on the other hand, Hinata, their people, one by one, died miserably. The head of the household, don't say it, go in and collect their corpses, and recycle the white eyes. But some of the bodies are charred. Stop, don't you understand my orders? Alas, Uchiha's group of asterisks dared to attack so ruthlessly. Hee. The other 8 people didn't make a move from beginning to end, they stood in one place. The traces of the battlefield, Uchiha's side was always only that one. How is it possible? Episode 52. The next day, Uchiha Yen acted as if nothing had happened and wanted to enter the ninja school as usual. However, what he has to do today is different than usual. Passing by the door of the classic classroom, I walked to the teacher's room. Teacher, I apply for early graduation. Apply for graduation and become a shinobi. He can get 2 parsing fields, and in the future, he can parse 2 at the same time, saving a lot of time. In front of him was not the teacher in his class, but the principal of the ninja school. Seeing that the visitor was Uchiha Hiko, he had already reached out and picked up a document passed down from it. Uchiha Hiko. Yes, teacher. He pondered that it should take a little time to apply for early graduation, so he came to consult in advance. If in addition to combat ability, other aspects of the assessment are required, then he should also be prepared. But unexpectedly, the principal of the ninja school in front of him directly handed over the document in his hand. With a smile, he said, "Uchiha Hiko, you are the best student I have ever met, and I am proud of you." Although it was official, Uchiha looked at the document and couldn't help but be happy. This is equivalent to lightspeed review and direct approval. Passing the application is expected, but the question is, how did he just open his mouth and the documents came down? Teacher, this is? Oh, this is a document personally issued by Naruto-sama. If you apply for graduation, you will pass it directly. This way. That. What Uchiha wants to say is that since he graduated, what about the ninja forehead? The principal smiled and said, if the ninja protectors, you need to find the teacher of your class, it should be sent to him, a little mistake in the work, you have to go again. If you say so, then you understand. Although I have to go to the trouble to run again, but the ninja school teacher is also a profession, and I need to eat. Bidding farewell to the principal, he walked straight towards Class A. It was during class at this time and he was embarrassed to interrupt. He waited for the bell to ring before he knocked on the door. Teacher Uchiha lifted the document in his hand, and then said, "The headmaster asked me to collect the guard from you." As soon as these words came out, the teacher of Class A did not react, but all the students of Class A were frying pans. What? What brace? Yes, what did Yanjun just say? Is something wrong with my ears? Who of you knows what he's holding? Especially Jiraiya, his eyes are almost out of their sockets. The teacher of Class A smiled apologetically, and then took out a ninja brace from the drawer of the podium, and the Konoha symbol on it had attracted countless eyes. Ah, Yanjun, I'm sorry, I thought I was coming to hand over for you, but I didn't expect to miscommunicate with the principal. This is, your forehead. The teacher said. Everyone breathed sluggishly. That's, ninja forehead. Oh my god, is the teacher going to reward Uchiha with a ninja protector? Hikoku and Saigao. Why do you look like a fool? Is the ninja protector rewarded casually? Yes, ninja forehead protection is of considerable significance. Even if you accidentally scratch it, you must report it, otherwise it will be considered a traitor. Such an important Konoha forehead, how can it be rewarded casually? Unless it's. The big snake pill who was still in his seat narrowed his eyes slightly, carefully looked at the document in Uchiha Hiko's hand, and came to an amazing conclusion. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Yen graduated early. Exceeded my expectations. It seems that I am going to work harder. Jiraiya, Carrot. The teacher of Class A saw the commotion in the audience, so he patted the lecture table. Snap, quiet. You all put me back in your seats. I didn't say the end of class. Who let you run around? The teacher is not angry and self-threatening, let alone pretending to be angry. All of a sudden, everyone jumped back to their seats, like little mice. Seeing this, the teacher continued, what do you see? Uchiha Yen entered school later than you, and graduated earlier than you qualified. You have time to get up. You should reflect on what you have not done well, why you are not as good as Hiko-kun. Yes, you read that right. From today onwards, Uchiha Hiko-san will become a qualified ninja, and you all have to come on. After speaking, the teacher took the lead in applauding and congratulating. The students in the audience also began to crack. Uchiha smiled and thanked him. Immediately, he received a forehead guard on the teacher's hand and put it on lightly. The appearance of the Uchiha family is supported here, and the forehead protection not only has not decreased, but has increased his appearance, and the whole person looks refreshed. At this time, offstage, a blonde girl looked at the brand new sign on Uchiha Hiko's forehead and couldn't help but grit her teeth. She is the granddaughter of 1,000 hand pillars, but now, she sees a Uchiha surpassing her one after another. Uchiha Hiko. I think that when the 1,000 hand pillars were there, Uchiha was forever suppressed. Could it be that in her generation, she would be suppressed by Uchiha? Episode 53. Uchiha Yen left the school. In the past few days, Tsunade has been unsettled. I don't know if it's because the seats behind me are empty, or because of the burden of the family. Returning home on the weekend, she was depressed and found her grandmother, Uzumaki Mido. When the surrounding guards saw the little princess go home, they also strengthened their guard. Entering the quaint cabin, Mido, who was already gray-haired, smiled kindly. Ozanade, come to my side. When Tsunade saw his grandmother, his heart warmed, and he stepped forward and sat down next to Mido Uzumaki. Uzumaki Mido touched Tsunade's blonde hair and asked with a smile, you must have something on your mind, right? Huh? I didn't, I just missed you grandmother. Hee, tell your grandmother? Tsunade was recognized at a glance, so he had to tell the story. That guy from Uchiha actually graduated earlier than me. Obviously he went to school later than me, and he sat behind me, and he usually didn't listen to classes much, and the school even let him graduate. Listening to Tsunade's dissatisfaction, Uzumaki Mido laughed. Is that the child of the Uchiha family named Hiko? Huh? Grandmother, do you know Uchiha Hiko? Yes, I heard the people below often mention. By the way, it was yesterday. It was as if he defeated the 9 members of the Hyuga clan alone in the Forest of Death. I heard that the 9 children of the Hyuga clan are very good, and the child named Hiko really reminds people of the past. One person defeated 9 people in the Forest of Death. Uchiha Hiko, the Hyuga family? If she hadn't listened to her grandmother, she might never have known that something like this was happening in the village. What is there? That guy Uchiha does have some skills, and there is nothing to be proud of in defeating the 9 Hinata. Yes, with Uchiha Hiko's ability, defeating those 9 Hinata children is indeed not something to be proud of, Uzumaki Mito said meaningfully. Who are those 9 Hinata? Let me try. I can also defeat them. Grandmother, please tell me. Tsunade said unconvinced. What Uchiha can do, she can do too. However, looking at Tsunade's eyes full of anger, Uzumaki Mito shook his head. They all died in the Forest of Death. What? How did they sacrifice? Was our village invaded by an enemy country? Tsunade was shocked. She felt that 9 people had died, but it was not a joke. No, because of its dueling nature, they died in the Forest of Death, at the hands of Uchiha alone. What? Uchiha killed the people in the village? And killed 9 people? Why would such a person still pass and graduate? Kozun, becoming a ninja will eventually take that step, but you can't bully the weak and kill innocents just because you know how to do ninjutsu. Uzumaki Mito smiled. She already understood what Tsunade was angry about. So, she explained, among the participating Hyuga clan, there are a total of 3 lower shinobi, 5 middle shinobi, and 1 elite middle shinobi, 2 of which have teamed up to kill the enemy country's upper shinobi. These people can't be considered weak. 3 lower shinobi, 5 middle shinobi. Joining forces can match the upper forbearance. When Tsunade heard this, he was stunned. He also thought that something happened in the village, that the Uchiha clan was bullying people, and Uchiha was like a person who bullied Hinata. Who knows, things are not at all what she thinks. Not only is it not that Uchiha is bullying, but the Hyuga clan does not want to face against a student who had just entered a ninja school. So many ninjas were dispatched. So many Naka shinobi. What shocked her even more was Uzumaki Mito himself said that Uchiha had killed the group of people alone. Tsunade felt fear like never before, and what stood in front of her was like an insurmountable mountain. What did she take to talk to that Uchihabi? What he can do, she may not be able to do. Grandmother, Ozanade, don't care about those things. If you have the opportunity, I would like you to be friends. Once Madara and Madara were very good friends. Every time I listened to him talk about the past, the smile on his face was something I had never seen before. A few days ago, graduated from ninja school. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the qualification for the next patients. Ding dong. The second parsing bar has been opened for the host. Please keep up the good work. Haha, give power. 2 columns have been opened here. I see who can stop me. Uchiha was overjoyed. Then, with a clever move, the forehead on the forehead was put into the analysis column of the system. Newly acquired things always have to be turned on. System, give me an analysis of this ninja forehead. Ding dong. Start analyzing the Konoha Ninja Village ninja forehead. It takes time. 3 minutes. Listening to the system's reply, Uchiha once again took out a broken black pill from the ninja bag. System, give me an analysis of this soldier's food pill. Ding dong. Start explaining ordinary soldier food pills. It takes time. 4 minutes. Episode 54. After graduating from ninja school, newcomers have a variety of options. Under normal circumstances, they accept the responsibility of Shinobu Ichigo and continue to learn as they grow. In the second case, they are inserted into a certain team of upper ninja and become a soy sauce player, which has great requirements for the ability of interns. In special cases, the dark part welcomes you. Thinking of Uchiha Yen, a genius with decisive killing and outstanding ability, the dark department is naturally very welcome. And, for Uchiha Hiko, after graduation it doesn't matter where he goes. It is okay to be dragged by the upper shinobi, or to join the dark part. He doesn't ask for someone anyway, he doesn't need someone to point fingers at him. People who have 2 parsing columns are such a bull comparison. In contrast, following Sharingan to go out on a mission, he was busy and died. And sometimes for a little forced smelly money, it depends on the color of the face. It's better to join the dark department, occasionally receive a task to guard a repeat offender. Isn't it beautiful to be busy? Others may think that the dark part is boring, but Uchiha Yen feels that the so-called boring is leisure. So, he readily agreed to Hokage's invitation and joined the dark ministry. Today is the day he reports to the department. The scabbard that he usually straddled his waist was changed to his back, and the scabbard he received from the dark equipment was just right. Tuck tuck. I knocked on the door in front of me, and soon, a tall woman opened the door, but she looked away at eye level and found no one. Just as he was about to close the door, he saw the young Uchiha Hiko. Haha, is this what Naruto-sama said about Uchiha Hiko? What a little one. Uchiha looked up at the tall woman in front of him, looking at the special makeup on her face and the smell emanating from her body. He had already guessed that she was from the Inuzuka clan. Women raise big dogs? Taro is basking upstairs in the sun today. How do you know I have a dog? Nothing. The tall woman seemed to be a Jungtai control, and did not think of any scene because of the above sentence, but quickly squeezed Uchiha Hiko's back and pushed him into the room. Inside the room, a group of lesbians with oblique masks, long flowing hair and beautiful faces. Is this a hole in the pants? Penetrate. Everyone, this is a newcomer who came today, Uchiha Hiko. Everyone should take more care in the future. With the captain's introduction, he felt that he was locked by several burning eyes. That feeling, not very good. This is Hiko-kun who beat the Hyuga clan. Well played. Heroes out of boys. Yes, Xiao Yanjun, come and give you a massage, and let those group of Hanadas, white-eyed wolves stay away from the old lady in the future. This is nothing, there are more direct ones. Yanjun, come and ask your sister to check your body, this is the custom. Be sure to follow orders. Uchiha never imagined that one day he would suffer such torture, but if he is given a 10-year age, he dares to load and kill this group of female monsters. It's just a pity that the young body has nothing. Men's patience is often limited. 1 year can endure. 2 years can endure. By the 3rd year, he really couldn't bear it. 3 years later, Fire Country border plug. A dark part wearing a tanuki mask suddenly appears. In front of him, there was a solidified back. The dark part of the tanuki mask quickly half knelt on the ground and said respectfully, "Detachment leader, please return to the village immediately." Naruto-sama has a new order. 3 years have carved marks on Uchiha Hiko's face. He lost weight. The eyes became deeper. The child of yesteryear is dead. The killer is born. He slowly turned his head, and the 3 Gajad chakra eyes in his eyes only glanced at it, and then replied, "Oh? 1. Did you bring something unclean behind you?" Hearing this, the young dark part codenamed 1 was suddenly shocked. She quickly stood up and sharply pulled out a short knife from behind her back, blocking it in front of Uchiha Hiko. Sure enough, in the line of sight, several red figures were getting closer and closer. "Detachment leader, you withdraw first." Uchiha shook his head and stepped forward indifferently. At the moment of passing by the dark lunar, he gently borrowed the short knife in her hand. "Detachment leader, you are. Nien is a new member of my detachment. I will forgive you for this indiscretion. If there is a next time, then you apologize yourself." Mo has feelings. Although under the dark mask was the face of a beautiful and young woman, he could say such words as self-confession at any time. "Yes, Captain." Luan did not dare to be careless, let alone disobey. She somewhat understood what it meant to join the dark part. Suddenly, a thunder light flashed in front of her. In amazement, she looked through the hole in the mask towards the man next to her. "I saw that in his hands. I don't know when thunder and lightning had been entangled. That thunder and lightning poured on that ordinary dark short knife. Is this Lei Dun Chidori of the captain of the detachment? I was lucky enough to see it with my own eyes." Episode 55. One hit instant kill, today's yen. Unlike the shock of Umbu's subordinates, Uchiha Hiko didn't feel the slightest wave in his heart. It took him 3 years to analyze, develop, and reanalyze, and the ninjutsu he researched was not just a mere chidori. This time, he just did it casually. Looking at the red figure that was quickly catching up, he stared coldly. "The forehead protector is rock shinobi? That thunder." Seeing Chidori's light, the 4 red figures all stopped. "No, I didn't expect the legendary fox Umbu from Konoha to be here. We are not his opponents. Withdraw." The legendary demon fox Umbu refers to Uchiha Hiko, who wears the mask of a demon fox. During these 3 years, due to the lack of training grounds to provide experiments, he used the results analyzed by the system on all enemies. The effect is obvious. Now those minions are trembling when they see the fox mask. If they see the rumored lightning-style ninjutsu again, they can just run away. However, Uchiha Hiko deliberately stayed behind to lead the way for those who escaped. In other words, except for him deliberately letting go, no one has been able to slip away from under his nose. Answer me a question, you guys, why are you pretending to be rock shinobi? Answer truthfully, and I can consider not killing you. Uchiha Hiko asked. Knowing that their chances of surviving the retreat were not high, the 4 replied, we are rock shinobi. I'm sorry to enter your land of fire, it's too dusty, and we're lost. Yes, Umbu from Konoha, please stay calm, we will withdraw from your territory of the Fire Nation. Put down the knife. Hearing that, Uchiha Hiko sneered. In an instant, thunder flashed. His figure is like that flickering Chidori, crossing the bodies of those 4 people in an instant. With just one blow, the 4 suspicious people were instantly killed. What a terrifying strength this is. The 4 people on the other side haven't had time to use ninjutsu yet. If it weren't for the world of difference in strength, it would definitely not be possible to do this. The chorus of Chidori gradually faded away, and Uchiha Hiko waved away the remaining lightning. Then, he took the short sword and stretched it towards the bodies of the 4 people. The sharp blade rummaged through the corpses, and after a while, a Taki Ninja Village forehead protector was picked out from one of them. Taki Ninja Village, I don't know what to pretend to be. Score, Captain, the captain is amazing. Umbu Luan looked at Uchiha Hiko adoringly with gold stars in his eyes. Before joining Umbu, she didn't know that Umbu had such a number 1 person. After joining Umbu, you can slowly hear some news and rumors. After word spread about the newly promoted, youngest team leader in history, she was slowly transferred over. But after being transferred, for about half a year, they all did boring tasks in the frontier. It wasn't until today's small operation to convey information that she was lucky enough to see the youngest team leader in history make a move. He shot so hard that it was far from human. She didn't even see that hand movement. This is Uchiha Hiko, her age. The gap between the two did not leave anything in Luan's heart. She just kept adoring her. Some people can't say that she is not self-motivated. They can only say that she is smart and knows how to see the facts. Hey, rookie, here's your knife. Uchiha Hiko threw the borrowed short sword to Luan. Luan caught the short sword firmly, holding the warm handle. She decided not to wipe or wash it within a year. Squad leader, your lightning style is so strong. I am also a lightning style ninja, but I am far behind you. The girl smiled and said goodbye. Uchiha Hiko Furuwe Wubwa glanced at her indifferently. Worse than me? Garbage, huh? My lord, this is too hurtful. Humph, I said, if you can't handle your actions next time, then commit suicide in front of me and apologize. You should understand the value of a Konoha Umbu to the enemy. Uchiha Hiko said coldly. Luan was terribly frightened. If the mask on her face wasn't in the way, she would cry out with a wow. Yes, yes. Sub-Captain. After warning her again, Uchiha Hiko breathed a sigh of relief, then looked around to confirm that there were no mistakes in the arrangement, and then said, since Hokage has a new order, let's go back. Yes, Captain. Don't call me the team leader so loudly, call me by codename. Do you want others to know that I am the leader? You want to harm me? No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Luan shook his head like a rattle, and the mask almost flew off. I'm sorry, sir, I'm stupid. If you have any questions, just teach me once. Humph, you are really stupid. Forget it, let's get on the road. If you can't keep up, you can find a way back by yourself. If you are chased by the enemy again, you can destroy your own body. Do you understand? Destroy your own body. How to do it? Young, poor, and helpless. Episode 56, Guiding Jonin, Konoha Village. Uchiha Hiko, wearing a fox mask, walked straight into Hokage's office. In the past 3 years, he is not the only one who has changed. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen, who has been sitting in Hokage's seat all year round, has become more stable. Master Hokage, well, you've been Umbu for 3 years, right? Yes, 3 full years now. It's been 3 years. You have become the team leader in these short 3 years. You are indeed worthy of being you. Sarutobi Hiruzen paused, and continued, I first identified your talent and thought you would join the team. In the future, I will definitely become an excellent Umbu, but I still underestimated you. If you stay in Umbu with your ability, you will be burying talents instead. So, Sarutobi said so. In fact, he thinks Uchiha Hiko is too talented. If he stays in Umbu all the time, it may affect his mind. So no one can be sure what he will become in the future. Even, it will be the next Madara. As it happens, he recently had an idea. Huh? Uchiha Hiko was suspicious. So, from today on, take off your mask and live. This means, Hiko, are you interested in being a Jonin? Serve as Jonin? Jonin? Uchiha Hiko couldn't help being surprised. Jonin? But, I'm just a. In the past 3 years, his ability has improved rapidly, but the ninja's level has not changed much. From rookie to Umbu newcomer, it will take another year to steadily promote to the team leader, and then from team leader to legend. The improvement of his ability can be described as lightning fast. Because of this, he didn't have time to apply for a ninja upgrade. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled, and said slowly, Uchiha Hiko, 0D level tasks, 0C level tasks, 43B level tasks, 55A level tasks, and 6S level tasks. Yes, Lord Hokage. Then, from today onwards, you will be Jonin. To be a Jonin is to lead a Jonin. It doesn't matter whether you are responsible or not, the important thing is that you can get more analysis slots by directly raising the ninja level to Jonin. The 2 parsing columns are already so convenient, not to mention directly upgrading to the number given by Jonin. Awesome. At the same time, according to your performance in Umbu, I will keep your Umbu position. Sarutobi Hiruzen said suddenly. Reserve? That's right. Since I succeeded Hokage, no one has been able to reach your level. But, you are still young, and Umbu cannot last your whole life. Yes, thank you very much. Uchiha Hiko Kaido, knowing in his heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded in relief, then took out 3 papers from behind, and said, then Uchiha Hiko, this is your first mission as a Jonin. The other side, the 3 children complained incessantly in the empty field. Oh, I'm so annoying, Mr. Sarutobi made me wait so long as a girl. That's right, why hasn't our teacher come here? Are we called orphans like this? Jiraiya, shut up, silly asterisk. Orochimaru pierced Jiraiya's center 3 centimeters down with precision, almost took his life. Seeing Jiraiya, the old hen, calm down, he continued, if the teacher doesn't come today, I will apply to join Umbu. I heard that guy also joined Umbu. Now my wind style is enough to beat him. It's been 3 years, I've lived these 3 years. Umbu? Well, Orochimaru, if you feel lonely, I can join Umbu with you. Go away, are you worthy? Seeing 2 people bickering, Tsunade found a place to sit down silently, already used to it. These 2 are just made for each other, and they've always been that way since the first time they met. Suddenly, she felt something in her heart and looked back. At some point, a figure appeared behind them along with a burst of fallen leaves. You. Tsunade stared at that figure dumbfounded. She hadn't seen it for 3 years, and she almost forgot why she practiced so hard. Seeing that familiar yet unfamiliar face today, I feel extremely complicated. Grandma said that she wanted to make friends with Uchiha, but until now, she didn't know whether she was missing or competing. Yo, long time no see. When the voice came, Orochimaru and Jiraiya turned around suddenly, and it was Uchiha Hiko who fell in their eyes. Yen Jun, it's been a long time. Yen, really Yen, where did you go? I thought you sacrificed for a mission, and cried for a long time. Uchiha Hiko chuckled. I'm in Konoha village. Just in Konoha? How come I never met you? Tsunade asked. Well, it may be that I go home directly during my rest time. It's normal if others don't see it. Huh? Are you that busy? Why are we not as busy as you? Jiraiya said. Hearing the sound, Uchiha Hiko showed a knowing smile. Hee, from today on, you should get busy. Because, from today on, I will take over you. Orochimaru frowned. He felt that Uchiha Hiko was not the kind of person to talk big casually, so he said, take over means, from today onwards, you are our guide Jonin? As far as I know, you are still a genin, right? Well, just got promoted, do you have any objections? Tsunade took a step forward and faced Uchiha Hiko head-on. If anyone has an opinion, she has the most. She is the granddaughter of Senju Hashirama. If a certain yellow-haired boy is the prince, then she is now the real orthodox grandson of the emperor. With such an identity, why would someone of the same age and class as her come to be her guide Jonin? Episode 57, 3 Small Battles. Uchiha Hiko. If you want me to call you a teacher, it depends on whether you are qualified, she said proudly. However, Uchiha Hiko shook his head and smiled. No, you made a mistake. I am just your captain and take you on missions if you want me to teach you ninjutsu. It depends on whether you are qualified. Well, now let's see who is qualified enough. Even if you are the captain, you have to get our approval. Orochimaru smiled. Without any other meaning, he just took this opportunity to try. For that day, he has worked hard to practice for too long. I have long wanted to compete with Uchiha Hiko. Seeing this, Uchiha Hiko is also refreshing, as the so-called 3 fires for a new official. Then take advantage of the opportunity to ignite this fire. Okay, the 3 of you attack me together. Please hold the belief of killing me. Mission rules: if you can injure me in any way, even scratches, you will win. Uchiha Hiko said. And what happens after we win? Jiraiya asked. Win? I'm sorry, I really didn't think you could win. So how about it? If you win, I will do whatever you want. If I win, you will have to obey all my orders in the future. Who do you look down on? Good. Just wait and see. Interesting. Good. Tsunade, I can. Come on. Uchiha Hiko glanced at the 3 of them one by one, and shook his head in disappointment. I'll let you have one hand. That's it. You can start at any time when you are ready. Give a hand? This is too crazy. Not to mention Jiraiya's character, even Orochimaru, who has always been calm, was a little angry. There are many double rules in the ninja world, such as one pair of Sharingan exerts the greatest power, one pair of hands can form seals, one pair of. 3 years have passed, you underestimate us. As he said that, Orochimaru rushed forward with kunai in his hand, and the distance of more than 10 meters was an instant for a ninja. His kunai is sharp and fast, without muddling, straight to Uchiha Hiko's face. But whoever is stabbed is deaf. However, with such rapid, explosive power, a lazy left hand gently grabbed his wrist. The seemingly ordinary left hand was like extremely hard steel, not only grabbed Orochimaru's attacking arm, but even stopped his entire impact force. What? Orochimaru was shocked. A shock that he had never seen before appeared on his pale face. He never expected that Uchiha Hiko would have such power. That doesn't fit his thin figure at all. Orochimaru, 0.5 points. Uchiha Hiko sneered, then violently threw Orochimaru away with one hand. Then let's see how good I am. Jiraiya laughed wildly, raised her fist confidently, and slammed at Uchiha Hiko. He, hiding in Orochimaru's shadow. Such a sneak attack is equivalent to appearing in front of Uchiha Hiko in an instant. Can he react? Yes, he can really react. Looking at Jiraiya's slow-moving fist, Uchiha Hiko calmly moved his left hand and pointed his sword, and poked it in between the middle finger and ring finger of Jiraiya's fist with precision. This poke broke his fist, and then, Uchiha Hiko turned his sword finger and held Jiraiya's ring finger and one finger, and then flipped it hard. This can be described as 4 or 2,000 pounds. Jiraiya's body was literally carried away by his own strength. If he doesn't go well, his fingers should be wrung off. Both Orochimaru and Jiraiya were thrown out, but Tsunade did not follow up. Uchiha Hiko looked over and saw her slamming her fist on the ground. The force on that little fist caused the ground to crack in an instant, and countless fragmented rocks flew towards him. It seems that Tsunade is still smart and knows how to use the rules. Uchiha Hiko smiled inwardly. The rule he made was that as long as he was injured, even if it was scratched, he would lose. Rushing up to hit him with his fists, or using a Kumao thorn, that's not going to work. Long-range intensive attack is the kingly way. It's a pity that there was a very obvious problem in the connection between the attacks of the 3 of them. If Orochimaru's attack has just landed and Jiraiya's fist can reach, then he is dangerous. If Jiraiya's fist has just been cracked, Tsunade's rock-breaking attack can reach, then he directly loses. But the reality is not like this. In a simple sentence, the gourd baby saves grandpa. Uchiha Hiko Shinsho pulled out the black knife from behind, swung it freely and effortlessly, and blocked all the broken rocks. At this time, he said, well, let me add another rule. As he spoke, he stretched his legs and drew a circle in front of him. I'm standing in the circle. As long as you can keep my feet outside, then you'll win. This is too crazy. The rules just now are already too much, except for 3-on-1 and frontal defeat, as long as it can hurt him. Episode 58. Different levels of fighting. Then he gave up a hand. Fortunately, he even drew a circle for himself. As long as he got out of the circle, he would admit defeat. Such a rule dealt a great blow to the three of them. What kind of strength is it that makes Uchiha Hiko so confident? Damn it. You're too bad. Jiraiya yelled, standing up clutching her arms. Orochimaru clenched his teeth and clenched his fists. He is too strong. What is the problem? Obviously, I am also cultivating hard every day. Why is there such a big gap with him? Wind-style great breakthrough. Orochimaru quickly formed a seal, took a deep breath, and then transformed chakra into a strong wind and blew it out. His furious attack was full of strength. If you go out of the circle, you lose, right? Then just blow him out with a powerful wind style. That's just standing still and being beaten. It is equal to wind style must hit. The strength of great breakthrough cannot be resisted by his body. Seeing the wind blowing dust, Uchiha Hiko couldn't help but admire. This wind style is beautiful, but it's a pity, it's still useless. As he spoke, he formed a seal with one hand. When I was young, I used test paper in my family to find out that I was the best at practicing fire and thunder attributes. But over time, he has acquired the power of a jonin. Mastering other chakra attribute changes is trivial. This is only his own ability. If coupled with systematic analysis, the 7 attributes can't stop him. Wind style great breakthrough. Uchiha Hiko's one-handed Madara, using wind style, that is more powerful than Orochimaru. The quality of his chakra is better than Orochimaru even with normal proficiency. The ninjutsu he uses is more powerful than Orochimaru. When the more violent wind met Orochimaru's wind, it was wiped out in an instant, and its power remained undiminished, and it attacked Orochimaru and Jiraiya. No. Idiot, hide. Orochimaru yelled. After receiving the reminder, the two quickly avoided to the sides. Wind style, great breakthrough was just Uchiha Hiko. Tion thought it was too hot and used it to create a cool breeze, so he didn't focus much. The power is not very great. It's not very fast either. Therefore, those two boys avoided it for the time being. Did the three of you only have so little strength without eating? Uchiha Hiko sneered. After staying in Umbu for a long time, I saw a lot of enemies of all kinds, and even often assassinated the well-known rebels in the ninja world. Now when I see the 3 little ghosts in front of me, I feel that they are too weak. They fight like children playing. Hearing the ridicule again, the 3 gritted their teeth and clenched their fists. The original relationship among the 3 of them, Jiraiya is unhappy with Orochimaru but has a crush on Tsunade. Tsunade hates Jiraiya. Orochimaru is unhappy with everyone. But now, they're going to let go of those stereotypes. The 3 of us go up together. Just let him move 10 centimeters. Agree, that's right. I don't believe that the 3 of us can't beat one. Uchiha Hiko smiled when he saw that the 3 were able to unite, albeit because of the way they were united. At least they achieved their goal. He doesn't want to go out to do missions with a plate of loose sand. What he wants to do is the position of captain, and he has to be responsible for this position, not to be a tool man. In that case, it would be better for him to go out to do the task alone, a group with high efficiency. Not bad, come on. 3 people deliberately circled around Uchiha Hiko, and then attacked from 3 directions. This simultaneous attack, let's see how he blocks it with one hand. Up, come on, admit defeat, Yanjun. They rushed up aggressively. The 2 points in the back are dead spots, and there is only one Tsunade in front. As long as he turned his body, the 3 of them also shifted their positions, keeping a relative angle all the time. Uchiha Hiko is quite satisfied. This kind of pincer attack, with so many rules, the average person should really lose. It's just that Uchiha Hiko can't lose this time. He needs to win and be the captain they recognize. The elders may take the initiative to admit defeat at this time, giving the children a step down, so as to avoid too much blow to their self-confidence. But Uchiha Hiko is different. He is the same age as them. He doesn't need to be taken care of like that. He just needs to set up an object of absolute obedience for them. Lightning style, Chidori stream. Dazzling thunder and lightning were suddenly released from his body, which caught the 3 people rushing forward by surprise. He deliberately weakened the power to avoid killing the 3 of them directly. The incomparably swift Chidori flow spread, and the 3 of them had no time to defend themselves, and they were hit on the spot. Although the weakened Chidori style will not kill them, the paralyzing effect of the thunder attribute is quite obvious. Zizizi. All 3 fell to the ground. The body twitched endlessly. There is no more power to fight. Uchiha Hiko took a step and walked out of the circle. He walked towards Tsunade first, stretched out his hand to attach to her body, connected the body, and the lightning-style chakra remaining in her body would dissipate faster. Episode 59. Gao Fushui treats guests and dinner. What kind of thing is he? Okay, today I, as the captain, shall treat everyone to a big meal? Uchiha Hiko put his arm on Tsunade's shoulder and asked, do you eat fried chicken or grilled chicken? Snort. Hey. I haven't admitted you, Jiraiya said tremblingly, paralyzed. Orochimaru did see the truth. Not to mention anything else, just the lightning style just now. As long as Uchiha Hiko wants to, he can kill the 3 of them at any time. With so many rules, they can't win. The strength gap between the 2 sides is too great. There is nothing wrong with letting him be the captain. Then let Jiraiya, the idiot, lie down by himself, and we'll eat, said Orochimaru. One thing to say, Orochimaru's physical fitness is much stronger than Jiraiya's. At this point, they were able to stand up by themselves, but Jiraiya was still lying on the ground. Uchiha Hiko helped Tsunade up, and seeing that she was still a little dissatisfied, he asked, "Why, your clan won't let you get close to Uchiha?" "No." "Oh, I thought you were going to blame us." Snort. "Then let's go." Konoha Street. The storefront these days is just one word: honesty. Not only are the ingredients fresh, the seasonings are healthy, and the quantity is large. When he asked for a fried chicken, the boss hurriedly made a big fat C***K. Just looking at the size of the big rooster, one can tell that this animal was very strong and healthy during its lifetime, and it was by no means a diseased or retired species bought from a certain channel. Because of their young age, even though Uchiha Hiko is showing his ninja forehead protector, the boss is not willing to sell them drinks. This is also a sincere person, therefore, they can only eat chicken and drink plum soup. Huh? Don't you think that's the one from that class? Jiraiya said suddenly. He was poor, really poor, and he looked around when he entered this kind of shop. Following his line of sight, he saw the table on the opposite side, which was the classic 1 defense 3 formation in the ninja world. It seems that Jonin, who is in charge of them, is also treating guests to dinner. As Jiraiya said, it should be the boy with long blue hair. That shape is truly amazing. Broken? Is Jiraiya your friend? Uchiha Hiko asked. Hearing this, Jiraiya exaggeratedly said as if she had seen a ghost. "Huh? Yen, don't say you don't remember. That school test, you sent someone into the health room." Uchiha Hiko shook his head. "I really don't remember." Kato-dan, that was the ninja school competition, your first opponent. Didn't someone from the Hyuga family challenge you later? Don't you remember all this? Hearing what Jiraiya said, Uchiha Hiko suddenly realized, I understand when you talk about the Hyuga challenge it seems that there is such an impression of blue hair. Here, Jiraiya is too loud and the yakiniku restaurant is not very big. Kato-dan on the opposite side can naturally hear the voice. Hearing talking about him, he walked over with a smile on his face. "Ah, so it's Orochimaru, Tsunade, and you guys." Kato-dan said with a smile, "It's really Asusure. I finally graduated successfully. Today the teacher invited us to dinner. By the way, where is your teacher?" Kato-dan is an idiot and a fresh graduate. He didn't know that the teacher of the genius Orochimaru is 3rd Hokage. Uchiha Hiko coughed twice. Orochimaru understood immediately. "The teacher has something to do today, so let's eat together. Do you have anything to do?" Mr. Kato-dan. "Hey, Orochimaru-san, I looked at the menu and found that this restaurant is very expensive. Why don't we let Tsunade eat at our table? Then you have nothing to do. Please disappear. It's quite an eyesore here." "This Orochimaru-san, I have no hostility." Orochimaru stopped talking, but Jiraiya wanted to hit someone. "Madao, is it obvious to grab Tsunade? Is the young master just a display?" Just when he was about to explode, Kato-dan suddenly noticed Uchiha Hiko in the back seat. In 3 years, Uchiha Hiko has changed a lot. It's normal not to recognize it the first time, but after leaving Hokage's office, he changed into the family's costumes, and no one in Konoha would miss that fan. Uchiha? As soon as he saw Uchiha, he would naturally associate certain psychological shadows. The Uchiha back then beat him until his front teeth fell out. At this time, Uchiha Hiko, who was searching for other delicacies on the menu, suddenly raised his head and shouted to the boss, "Boss, I think these dishes in your store are good, let's serve them all." Looking up, Kato-dan saw Uchiha Hiko's face clearly. Although there have been some changes in the past 3 years, that outline has long been engraved in Kato-dan's mind. He is that shadow, he is Uchiha Hiko. After not seeing him for 3 years, he appeared in front of him again. Kato-dan closed his mouth, didn't even dare to make a sound, and walked away dejectedly with his tail between his legs. The two didn't even exchange a word, just looking at that face, the fear in his heart surged like a tide. He is AD***K, his strength is not as good as Uchiha Hiko, his appearance is not as good as Uchiha Hiko, and his background power is not as good as Uchiha Hiko. Just in case, Gao Fushuai is here to treat guests and dinner. What kind of a thing is he? Episode 60. Excellent people are so beautiful. Not to mention how Kato-dan humiliated himself last night. Yen planned to take his team members to take on the task the next day. Yes, the efficiency is so high. Mission 1. Go to the Daming Mansion as a guard and escort the ministers to go on a mission. Mission 2. Clear up a nest of bandits in the southwest direction, said Uchiha Hiko at the gate of Konoha village. In front of him were 3 people who were ready. Jiraiya immediately yelled, "Of course we are going to suppress the bandits, escorting others, or something. It's really boring." Uchiha Hiko chuckled, "I forgot to tell you, I never accept tasks below B level, and I like to take tasks that are on the way, which means that this time, both tasks are above B level, and I will execute both of them." "No, let you choose, Nanny?" Jiraiya was stunned. Although the overall strength of their small class is much better than other small classes, is it really good to do B-level tasks directly? They have tried C-level missions before, and they feel that C-level tasks are enough to scare people. In this B-level task, I am afraid that life is in danger. Very well, I appreciate your expressions now. Don't embarrass me when you wait. Uchiha Hiko's eyes swept across the faces of the three, and the other two were the same as Jiraiya. Even Orochimaru, who was far superior to Jiraiya, however, he was surprised because of the B-level task and found it interesting, not timid. Several people set off here. Follow the map to arrive at Daemingfu first. The so-called minister is actually the daimyo's cousin and also the daimyo's own brother-in-law. Your circle is really messed up detail. However, they also treat the ministers as Ichiraku's sons, or fragile goods that need to be transported, and the task is completed when they are delivered to the terminal. There will be no deeper intersection. The minister was riding in a carriage, and the four of them sat in the four corners. Except for Jiraiya occasionally typing a few words and being a tool person a few times, the other three don't like him at all. Captain, I have a question. You said that you like to take the side mission, but we received the minister first. Could it be? Orochimaru suddenly asked at the rear of the car. Uchiha Hiko, who was sitting in the front of the car, smiled slightly, and said to the back, I have studied the route of this trip. We will cross the country of grass from the country of fire, and then arrive at the destination country of earth. And on this way, there is a must pass. It will take 3 more days to go around the pass, but if you pass through there, you must pass under the eyes of that group of robbers. Orochimaru understood immediately. It turns out that no matter whether we accept the mission or not, we will eventually encounter robbers. It is better to accept the mission first. In this way, we will be wiped out along the way, and we can get 2 mission rewards and mission records. Uchiha Hiko nodded with relief. Yes, that's what I meant when I said drop by, but don't be careless. The 3 of you, the reason why that pass has been occupied by robbers is because there are a large number of them from the last war. The combined strength of deserters cannot be underestimated. A deserter from the last war. Tsunade looked at Uchiha Hiko with complicated eyes. Even though they are all students in the same class, why is he next to him so familiar with the tasks? Considering all aspects, he even has certain information about the types of robbers. On the other hand, the 3 of them looked like newcomers. Rookie ninja. I thought that after graduation, the gap between them would gradually narrow, but who would have thought that not only did the gap not narrow, but it widened even wider. Suddenly, the minister in the carriage spoke. Hey! You 4 brats, knowing that there are bandits there, why don't you go around? 3 days is 3 days, my safety is more important. Is this how your Konoha ninjas do things? Send you guys over here escorting me, I'm already very unhappy. Do you believe in cutting your expenses? The minister's voice, one could tell it was a 300-gene creature. Uchiha Hiko didn't bother him, because the habit that Umbu had cultivated over the years was either keep silent or do it. The task of communication naturally fell on Jiraiya. Hey! Your Excellency, are you dissatisfied with our Konoha ninjas doing things like this? You have to find out the situation first. The 3 of us are disciples of 3rd Hokage, and the one in front is the captain appointed by 3rd Hokage. Also, it's you. Is the life of the country more important, or is the country's diplomacy more important? Shut up, you brat, dare to contradict me? What's your name? I think you don't want to mess around. My uncle's name is Jiraiya. Okay, I remember you. This is a communication between the authority dog and the bottom level, indifferent dickheads. Seeing that the atmosphere was not good, Orochimaru, who was sitting at the back of the car, had to speak up. Minister, we are the ninjas of Konoha. Hokage sent us to escort us. Naturally, we trust us, and please trust us. As for the road plan, it is stipulated by the daimyo, not by us. 3 days is so much remuneration. 3 days less travel is still so much remuneration. We are willing to hang out for a few more days. Finally, please respect the judgment of the captain. Orochimaru smiled. Now that there are a large number of ninja deserters among the robbers, Uchiha Hiko is the main escort for the next step. At this time, trouble the captain. Does the minister want to lose an arm or a leg?